how do you manage the stress level? What does that look like? I mean, what is a typical day? Are you punching in at 9 a.m. and leaving at 5 p.m. or like you're still smiling? You're still smiling. So how?
Well, no, I work a lot of hours. I probably am in the office a good 14, and then I probably spend another 3-4 hours at home working as well. So if I'm not sleeping, I'm generally in front of a computer or I'm at the gym, one of the two. So I read your little question here on how do I not allow angry and annoyed clients and angry realtors to bother me. And that's just not realistic. It does bother me, like it hurts my soul. And as many hours as I work, I feel like I'm often in like these friendship kind of relationships with clients, and some cases that's not the case, and I actually like get heartbroken over the whole thing. And I think it's really important to acknowledge that as much as you can be professional and you can still be emotionally involved in files, and that's okay. I'm really good friends with my underwriters. We have our heart-to-hearts and our blowouts, and I think all of that really has like allowed me to get to this level because I have a really good connection with a lot of people.
But are you unplugging on Saturdays and Sundays? Like, are you just Monday to Friday, or?
No, I'm here 7 days a week.
7 days a week. Okay, we're gonna have to talk about that. That's and how many years have you been going at this pace, basically?
13.
13 years.
Yeah.
So people say, "Oh, Mackenzie, you're going to burn out," and I remember being told that, and you're just like, "No, that's not a thing."
Oh, I do. I have a good cry, like probably once a week. Just come in here and you'll find me in like a blubbery mess. I'll be like, I can't do this anymore.
So thank you. There's the answer. Once a week, have a good cry, get it out of your system, and then light it back up again next week. Perfect. Joanna, talk to us a little bit about, the question, the bigger question I talked about with the panel before was things like elections, finance minister changes, Bank of Canada announcements, rate changes, policy changes, branch competition, frustrated clients, angry realtors, underwriters not getting back. There's all that stuff that goes on, like all that noise that can potentially get into your brain and sort of bring you down and get you frustrated. How do you walk through a day in the life, Joanna, without letting this stuff get to you?
I think stress is part of life. And to a certain degree, it's a good thing. But big thing for me is people really, what I've done is reset my expectations, got it figured out, and everything is running perfectly. There'll always be victims. In terms of things that are happening in your life, you have to pick what's most important. And at work, so what we've done is we've gone back to looking at the big pictures, because being in the weeds is you end up just chasing next deal, and what Mackenzie is saying, drinking from the fire hose. So my approach has been to step back and figure how I can work smarter and not harder for my situation and my setup, and delegate more, be maybe less of a control freak, which is a hard one for me.
It's a hard one for every single person who gets into brokering. We're all AAA maximum control freaks. No one can order an appraisal the way we can order an appraisal. Like, right? It's tough to let that stuff go. So how about yourself though? Are you shutting it off on weekends and creating a safe space for yourself that's mortgage free, or what kind of hours are you putting in on a day-to-day or week-to-week basis, do you think?
I do work a lot of hours, but what I find that during this time, I started working more in chunks. I do have 3 kids, and it's just impossible. Like everybody figures out their way to do it, but I work in chunks. So I'll work in spurs of half an hour or longer than and I really try to be efficient in small chunks. But I also got to a point now where I delegate a lot more. We have a much better process than we did. And I have a great team that I can rely on. And our referral sources typically try to get things done during the week, because there's really very little need for us to be talking to a client on Saturday night if they've been properly pre-approved.
Yeah, if you're managing that process and that client's expectations, you can head off those weekend inquiries pretty smoothly.
For the most part, yeah.
So is it safe to say when you're at work, and when you're at home, you're at home? Try and create some separation, like you say, chunks.
I'm jumping in and out, but I try to be present, whatever I'm doing. And I think that that's the hardest part, because, you know, we're all here on screens working from home, and you might hear what's going on in the other room or down the corridor. And I think that fighting the distractions is the hardest part. And I've just chunked it, and then I can just jump in and try to really concentrate.
And the follow-up to that is, okay, you're having a record year, and I know you've got two young ones, I think 4 and 7 at home.
That's good.
How are you like what kind of hours do you find yourself putting in? Is it 5 days a week? Is it 6, 7 days a week? And how are you striking some balance and dealing with the stress?
It's usually about 5.5 to 6.5 days a week. That's why I usually works around. I try to kind of shut down on Friday night and Saturday night as well. But it's hard, especially with the COVID, like kids are home. That's the biggest challenge. So it's a different life right after the COVID, right? So it's a different lifestyle. So I come to the office around 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. So at least I can get home around 5, 6 o'clock. So when I go home, I kind of starting trying to put the phone away. Like I haven't done that before. So recently, about a month ago, I have lost one of my best friend's wife. She died just like that. She was about to give birth and she died. And when I see my best friend, his thing is, you have to prioritize a family. So I'm trying to lock about 2 hours, at least 1 to 2 hours a night. So trying to put the phone away, not touching the phone, not checking the email, not checking the text messages. So it's kind of a time that I give it to my family. Then I'm back again and working around 9, 10 o'clock again. So that's the only way we can keep going. So usually I do about anywhere from 13 to 15 hours a day.
Well, that's still an awful lot of hours, and man, I'm sorry to hear that story. But those are the stories that act as wake-up calls for us and try and get us back on point with what's really important. But it's tough. It's tough. Alan, how about yourself? What is a week in the life of Alan look like? Are you working 18 hours a day like everyone else here, or what?
I think I'm pretty consistent, and I'm not great at blocking off. And you know, my iPhone is a blessing and a curse because it makes everything convenient, and you know, you're always reachable, and at the same time, you're always reachable. So one of the things that I need to learn is to, whether it's, you know, better like to me, like on the weekends, I might work, you know, 6, 8 hours, maybe 10 hours, but little more like off and on, relax. And I actually enjoy it because it's a slower pace. Whereas during the week, it's like whatever, 8, 10, 12 hours, 14 hours, but it's like insane. So like my weekends are like, oh, it's only, you know, a 6 to 8 hour day, like calm pace. So it's actually very relaxing. But I also want to comment on one other thing that I heard is that it seems here everyone is working crazy mad and everyone is having record years. But my kind of observation or take is like top brokers are having record years. And then I think newer people are not necessarily like getting in on that. Because if you've like built up your reputation, your referral sources, every file is really hard. You know, the top brokers are like getting a lot of business, but new people are like, I don't understand. What do I do? Like, how come everything, you know, I'm getting like one file every 3 months?
You know, Alan, Joanna, Mackenzie, Varen, thank you so much for making this happen. I really appreciate it. I appreciate the opportunity, and thank you for tuned in.